All right, looks like we're good to go. Everyone good? Sound check?
Ready to rock.
All
Let's
right.
get it.
How we sounding?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. My name is Chris Alaimo.
And I'm Ben Gassaway. Together, we are the Amateur Investors.
This podcast is our open source journal of everything we learn about investing and wealth management.
We're here to explore the key concepts, market dynamics, and investing strategies that will assist you on the path toward financial independence and financial literacy. Our mission is to build us up from amateurs to experts.
All suggestions are our own, and we recommend that you do your own research before taking any investment advice. See you in this week's episode. We hope you enjoy it.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Amateur Investors. This week, Ben and I are joined. I know we haven't had a guest in a while. We're Ben with Pat DeRiso, a good friend of mine from the Ultimate Frisbee days back in college. So a blast from the past. So Pat's here to tell us about, leaving his 9-to-5 job to work on Amazon drop shipping full time. So Pat, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks so much for having me, guys, Chris and Ben. It's an honor, and I just love talking Amazon, especially with people that don't know the beast. So I'm excited to dive in, for sure.
Yeah, so Pat, give us a little bit about, yourself, your background, and kind of how you got here today. I would love to learn a little bit about, Amazon drop shipping, maybe some things that are in the pipeline for you, and really just anything you want to talk about. The floor is yours just to introduce yourself a little bit.
Sure. So I guess I'll start with my education, where I went to Stockton and playing Ultimate Frisbee there. That's how I met Chris. Sweet boy.
That's
we
awesome.
All love him.
Appreciate that.
So I started with a communications background, a BA, but I realized quickly that if I wanted to get into some serious business work, I needed to declare another major. Worked out perfectly because I wanted to play Frisbee another year. But that's neither here or there. What ended up happening was I walked away with a BS in business with a marketing concentration. And that's kind of what opened the door for me to get into this field. Never had a plan to be in e-commerce, never planned to sell on Amazon. I was more interested in social media and the advertising side of marketing. So long story short, my first real job out of college, I worked for a commercial real estate company where, I'm doing basic marketing for 10 clients. And I took that low level experience, found Polygel on Craigslist of all places. I put out 200 applications. Polygel said yes. The rest was history. Basically, I signed on to start a new brand from scratch for a company that had never done a direct to consumer play before. So my boss and I had to build a brand from scratch. With literally nothing. They were selling in the medical field to DMEs, hospitals, doctors, that kind of thing, and doing pretty well. They never went right to the consumer. So I signed my contract to do some social media and blogging. And long story short, my boss and I realized that there was a play on Amazon, and we started to see that we're talking 2015 that
Got it.
Amazon, our products, our health and wellness products could probably do pretty well. So let's try to build a brand through Amazon. This is with no formal training, not knowing that was even an option. Let's just try. So I have a unique experience of being thrown into a fire with no formal training. And, we took the company I was there for the first 6 months. Our portfolio for all of e-com was $775K. When I walked away, wow. 2 weeks ago, the run rate was 17 to 18 million.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That's all e-commerce, and 90% of that is Amazon. So
that's incredibly impressive. And I think it's actually refreshing to hear that, I feel like you're definitely very humble about this, taking your book of business from not knowing anything to, double-digit millions. I mean, that's really, really impressive. And I think for our audience who might want to, either get into this space or to just really start selling and building a book of business, it's refreshing to hear that story, that it isn't just a silver spoon thing. It's you start from nothing and you teach yourself and you build it from the ground up. I would love to hear maybe what step one looks like for you when you guys got together and knew you were going to build this brand and you thought, there is a play here. What was the first thing or first things that you did? Like, what does the starting point look like for you guys?
That's a great question. And I'll try to frame it for any small business, really, where you should start if you think, does my portfolio, is it going to play on Amazon, right? And with any business, and you want to sell an e-com, the first thing you need to know is your customer. What are you selling and why are you selling it? Who's buying it, right? On Amazon, that just as much as anywhere else, that comes into play, if not more so, because the beast of Amazon is really SEO, PPC, and optimizing listings. So,
and what is that? What was the acronym? Sorry.
PPC. Sorry. Pay-per-click advertising, for those who don't know. I actually had to stop and think. I'm like, oh my God, what is the acronym?
That's what happens when you get so deep in an industry. You just speak in acronyms and you're like, I don't even know what this means.
Yeah, so sorry. You're going to have to flag me when I do that.
No, that was totally fine.
Amazon mode. So yeah, look at your portfolio. If you have the biggest things are, one, if you have a brand already. If you have an established brand, that's the easiest way to quickly establish yourself on Amazon. It's also the easiest way to not be a major player. So if you don't have your own brand, I would suggest that's where you need to start, is branding your products. That way you can tap into Amazon's brand registry. And when you do that, it opens up a whole nother side of Amazon. That's really important for a third-party seller. So customer, your portfolio of products, and making sure you have your own brand. Those are the big three, I would say, off the get. So if you're thinking of selling on Amazon and you have a product, is it unique? Is it a commodity? Is it, something that is going to ship easily? These are all things you need to be thinking about.
Yeah, that's super helpful, honestly. I think that applies to really any business, is knowing your customer segment, because otherwise you can really you'll be splitting hairs and you're going off like a wild goose chase, and you're not really providing the right product for the right people. Mm-hmm. I guess even taking one step back, just for our audience, I mean, I did some research just to make sure I kind of knew what dropshipping was. I feel like I have a decent understanding of it. But being in the hot seat and actually doing it, it makes a big difference. Could you walk us through a little bit about, drop shipping generally, and if what you're doing is different than what is commonly done for drop shipping, or if it is in line, maybe just a broad overview of your business and drop shipping in general?
Sure. So like the beast of Amazon could be leveraged in so many different ways than just straight, I'm an Amazon seller, right? You can choose to store all of your inventory in Amazon and have them ship everything out. But what people, I guess the disconnect there is, there's two parts of Amazon: the Amazon FBA, which is fulfilled by Amazon, and then Amazon MCF, which is like multi-channel fulfillment or merchant fulfilled, that kind of thing. So if you're going to use Amazon just to drop ship for your e-commerce business, you can do that. And you can tie into Amazon via APIs using, Shopify is the biggest one, but any of your standard e-commerce platforms are going to tie in to your Amazon API and allow you to do just that. So you can use it to drop ship. And I know that seems to be the Amazon drop shipping is the focus of this episode, but the real secret sauce to Amazon, and if you want to make money on Amazon, you want to invest in the right businesses that will make money on Amazon, it's those businesses that have branded products that are different for some reason. Sure, we can outmarket other companies with better marketing with a product that's just like everyone else's, but that's not where you're going to make serious profitability. It's your own product that does something a little unique, if you can.
So thanks for the description of that, Pat. I guess one thing that I will say, so while you are leveraging Amazon to do drop shipping in your favor, how do you go up against the Goliath itself that is Amazon? I mean, obviously, if you're marketing for products, I'm assuming that Amazon could also sell the same brand that you're trying to market. And I know that there is laws or legislation was potentially going to go through Senate and Congress about, restricting Amazon from promoting their own products over a third-party vendor. I mean, essentially, they could put you you or any third party out of business by just promoting their brand over the alternative. Or even, I know a lot of times Jeff Bezos is pretty familiar with doing this, with doing basically a loss leader, that they're making so much money they can afford to basically lose money on a product, basically put out all their competitors out of business, and then scoop up the market cap of that said thing. I know that was kind of a long-winded response, but how do you basically put up a fight against the beast that you're using itself?
Right. That's such a good question. And I hate to answer it like spiritually, but it really is, you need to stop fighting Amazon and start finding the ways Amazon can work for you. And that's the best answer, because you'll never win. Of course you won't win. If you have a product that you're competing with Amazon directly on, I would stop selling that product because you're in the wrong business. But B, the other side of Amazon, this is really important. So I got to explain this now before I keep talking. So there's the 1P side of Amazon, which is like the first party. That's typically what you see on Amazon. And what that is like established brands selling their inventory to Amazon and saying, you sell this on my behalf. I don't even care. Give me 30, like I'm making 30% margin. I'm happy, whatever it is, That is not the best way to make money on Amazon. That is a way to make money on Amazon, but you lose all control and all power, and people like myself that can actually help you do anything. So if you come to me and you tell me I have an Amazon Vendor Central account, okay, so all I can do with that really is leverage the ads. That's where you're gonna make your money. That's where you're gonna get your exposure, because of a little thing called the buy box. You guys have heard of the Amazon buy box? Do you know what that is?
I don't.
So when like you go to an Amazon product detail page, it's gonna be on the right hand side on a desktop, and scroll down to it on the phone, but it's a literal box where it has the add to cart button. That is the buy box, and that changes hands due to 1,000 reasons that the Amazon algorithm, nobody knows what it is for sure, but we know it combines like the store rating itself, are you Amazon FBA, how much inventory do you have, is your listing optimized? All those things contribute to you getting the buy box. And all that means is when somebody adds to cart, they're buying from you. Because there's a lot of stuff on Amazon, let's take something, Nintendo Switch controller right here. When you go buy a Nintendo Switch controller, you may be buying it from Amazon, but you might not be. You might be buying it from Controllers for Games Inc., and that'll come up. But it's the same product. Mm-hmm. So manipulating the buy box is the game. That's what you want. You want people to buy your product. So when you're a third-party branded seller, you can ban any other seller from selling on your product detail page. There is no longer a buy box issue. It's always you. And that's why we suggest as Amazon sellers, always go third party. So you have complete control over your listing and complete control over your marketing. And that's where people like us can help you out.
That's awesome. So I know I was excited to hear from you that's like leveraging Amazon drop shipping, but I kind of lump, and this is not any offense to you, Pat. It's just I kind of lump it along with the other people that do, how to make millions investing in the stock market. It's like a lot of times when I see those ads, I'm a big, Ben and I watch a lot of investing videos on YouTube. I always see those. I'm like, I always think like, this is making them rich. It's not making the person learn how to trade stocks better. I also, another hot one is Amazon drop shipping. Like I made millions in my first year in Amazon drop shipping. And I always look at that like, oh, just give me $1,000 for teach you how to do that. Or like I built all these products out, and I'm not saying that is you at all, but it just, when I hear that, it's always like someone's selling a course and you're getting them rich, but you're not actually building a brand or a business. So I guess, how do you combat the I don't want to say the false narrative, but like a lot of people are like, oh, you're Amazon drop shipping. Like, who are you scamming now? So how are you different than the people that are trying to sell a course on Amazon drop shipping to make a ton of money?
Right. So I'll lead with, I'm not promoting myself here. I have way too many accounts as is, but I'll say, so let me think of how to phrase this. Anyone can do it. Okay, you need $40 a month for your account to have a professional selling account. But what you need is time and the ambition to go learn how to do it. So that's what you're paying for with people like us. I've been doing it for 6 years. So I know every problem. I've seen every fire and put it out. When you go do this on your own, you're going to hit barriers that you didn't see coming, and you honestly will never see coming. It just comes with experience. So what I will say this is go into Amazon, get into the back end. It's pretty intuitive. You can get around pretty easily when you're in there, but Amazon offers courses, certifications right through them. So you can go in there and you can get certified on your own just for that $40 a month and learn if you put in the time. And if you learn and just use the forums to answer your own questions and go and do the research yourself, that's what I did. That's what I did 6 years ago. It was a lot easier 6 years ago, but it can still be done today. And anybody selling a service where I can teach you the secret sauce, blah, 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 they just did the same thing. You can go do it too. LinkedIn Learning, Udemy, Amazon themselves, go learn, or pay somebody like me a couple grand a month to do it for you. I mean, those are your options. But for you guys, for investors, you need to find the FBA businesses. And yes, it's FBA. That tells me it's a third-party seller fulfilled by Amazon. That's what you want. You want to buy these companies low, valuated, 500,000, maybe $1 million, that are bringing in good profit. They have a product that's unique that that you could leverage, and find the people that get out of businesses every day for all different reasons, that good businesses. So it's about having, partnering with somebody who has an eye for products that will do well on Amazon, that accounts that are already healthy. I mean, there's a way tinier businesses too that are for sale that you guys could buy, 10, 20 grand and just take them to the moon. I mean, I could do that too, but that's not what I want to do with my life. I'd rather help other people succeed. So that's why I'm where I'm at. Because everyone asks me, they're like, well, Pat, how come you're not doing it? Like, that's not what I want. I want a fully remote job where my 9 to 5 is helping other people do it. And then I'm just going to turn off my laptop and go do what I want to do.
And you're generating your own cash flow. I feel like that's financial independence. You can go on vacation whenever the hell you want, but if money is coming in the door, you own your own asset. And I think that's brilliant. It doesn't matter how you skin the cat. Like, that's what you have is your own asset.
Exactly. And all it takes is one person with the right product, and you could be a millionaire, pretty quickly on Amazon. If you know how to leverage the advertising, the campaign manager, which again, if you've done e-commerce, PPC, pay-per-click advertising outside of Amazon, like Google AdWords, it's all the same animal. It just looks a little different. You'll be able to learn it quickly.
Yeah, knowing that the barrier to entry is cheap, like that you're paying that monthly subscription, I don't want to oversimplify the success that you've had. Like, I'm sure it wasn't binary, you flip the switch. There's definitely some hurdles in the road. Maybe not. And I hope that's how it went. But I would love to know maybe like your biggest challenges or something that you would say is a red flag for someone who's like really interested in getting into this space. How can you help someone not stumble across their own feet getting started, even like, the first month? Maybe the biggest challenge that you faced even in general. So maybe 2 things, just getting started, big challenges, and maybe the biggest challenge you faced.
Right. So in my experience, the biggest challenge has always been defining your goal off the get. If you come to me and say, I want to be rich on Amazon. Okay. Do you want me to grow the business and you're paying a ton out of pocket while you do this just so I can get you ranked high, so we're losing money the entire time? Or do you want to slowly grow and be profitable the entire time? What I find is that clients typically want everything. You can't have everything, especially in 2021 on Amazon, because everyone's spending, everyone is selling. The way you're going to differentiate on Amazon today is through your marketing, your images, your videos, and what's called enhanced brand content, EBC, otherwise known as A+ content. That's basically just when you scroll down or on a desktop, that's a like chunk of images with a little text. You've seen it. I know you guys have seen it.
Yep.
Where basically that's the information part of the sales process. You need to sell somebody on the images because that's the first thing you're going to see on a phone or a desktop. If you haven't sold them in the images, you haven't done your job. You need to sell them on the images, preferably have a video, then let them get to the bullets, then let them get to the EBC. They should already be sold. You're just trying to comfort them at that point. So the secret sauce of Amazon is a combination of the secret sauce of typical e-com practices, the secret sauce of learning Amazon's current algorithm for ads, which changes like every 6 months to a year. So that's a pain. And then leveraging, basic business forecasting and inventory management, and then marketing. So it's like those 4 pillars. And I think I said them correctly. Yeah. I also tend to ramble when I talk about Amazon.
That's what you're here for.
Yeah.
I've been interviewing, like I did 15 separate interviews in the last month. And it's been this every time, just me talking about how I was successful on Amazon.
That's awesome.
But yes, it's a combination of a lot of things, but number one is going to be effort. And, we were successful because we had 3 managers that made our 9 to 5 was Amazon every day. Not everybody's going to have that privilege, but we weren't trained at all. You have the tools today to go to LinkedIn and go to Amazon and Udemy and get schooled up. And then you're starting a way higher advantage point than I did, so yeah, you can do it. It's do you want to?
There's a great quote from engineering school that was, you could have it fast, cheap, it was fast, cheap, and quality, and you can only pick one of them, basically. So, everyone wants all the aspects of it. Like, I want to make a ton of money. I want to spend no money. I want it to come very quickly. It's like, that's not happening. You're going to take a lot of time, effort, probably cost a lot of money along the way.
Right.
So I just think that's funny. That's, things never change. Some people want that all the time, basically.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Ben, do you want to take a question? I'm drawing a blank.
I've always got questions. I can't help myself. Knowing that, especially for a drop shipper, I would imagine that being sort of like up along the supply chain margins are like of high focus. How do you kind of stay on top of market trends for your products to make sure that you're always kind of maintaining a target margin from your vendors? Because it feels like, or at least I would intuit that like the origination of the product is going to be the key driver of your margin, depending on how you pick your price points. Like, how fluid, or really how much visibility do you have on real-time price trends for your products, and how do you kind of like manage that between vendors? Like, is it a spreadsheet? Do you have an API? I'd love to hear maybe that process. You don't have to get too nitty-gritty as you want, but I'm just curious how you track all that.
Yeah. So again, there's like 1,000 different ways you can do it. And so many of them are free. There are Google extensions. Names are fleeting right now, but Keepa is one of them, Keepa, Jungle Scout, things like this, where you'll go to an Amazon page and it'll show you all this information. They already have the bots crawling, so these programs exist, there's a ton of them. You just have to Google it real quick. It'll come up. But that's just one aspect of that. So there was a lot in that question, and I've already lost my train of thought.
Basically, just keeping up with vendors moving prices, how you then address your price levels to sort of respond to ensure that you're hitting target margins. Basically, just like what the price discovery process looks like for you as a seller.
Right. That's a really good question. And so you're going to have to factor in competition for sure. But
of course.
Number one is your own COGS, and Amazon is going to drive. Is like a race to the bottom, right? So you want to have the lowest COGS, and they're not easy to obtain because you need economies of scale before you can lower down your COGS. Like, you need to be moving units. I understand that, but you can't be coming to Amazon with a product that has really high COGS that's made in the USA, unless it really is a superior quality product, and it is, like things like that. So that's one scenario. Let's say that you have a portfolio of products and you already know your COGS. Your price is going to be based off your COGS more so than anything else. It's just, you got to look at that first and be like, all right, I need to make 10 to 25% profit margin on this product. I know I need to spend X amount on ads. Typically it's going to be 10%, so you need to put that away and see where that puts your price, and then go look at competition. You might find that you're priced out of the market entirely, and that happens. You probably might not have a product that's ideal for Amazon. Not everyone does. Everyone thinks they do, but they'll spend money and throw it up there and it'll fail just because you just don't have a chance. You're selling a commodity that is being marketed really well by 30 companies, and they're all spending a ton on keywords. Like, it has to be at this point in 2021, either a little different or your cogs are really low, and we can just win that way. There are levers to pull if you have, a product like my last former company. We sold ice packs on Amazon. You can look them up. It's NatureCare or FlexiCold on Amazon. We typically hold the #1 spot for an ice pack.
That's
right?
pretty cool.
Yeah. So like I met people all the time on Ultimate that had a FlexiCold ice pack. And I'm like, how did you buy that? I'm like, well, I went on Amazon, I typed in ice pack and I bought this, right? That's what people want. You want to be #1 for keywords, but that ice pack is not the cheapest on Amazon. It's like, why are we #1? Well, we've been selling it since 2015, and that's going to happen too. And if people have been selling for a long time and they know how to defend their positions and they have a lot of money to do so, you might be SOL on that keyword, but there are so many keywords. So you can become Amazon's choice for something like very specific, like ice pack for injuries, reusable kits. And okay, that might have 200 searches per month, but you could be #1 for it. And you get a little badge that says that, if you can get bestseller in a category that maybe isn't the most accurate category for you. But like ice pack is a good example. You sell them typically in cold packs. An ice pack is a cold pack, right? If I went in there today and I saw FlexiCold and all these guys competing, I would try to find a different category that's similar, that doesn't have as much competition, like first aid remedies, something like, and go that way. Because probably there I can gain more ground quickly and get a bestseller badge. And then if you can get a bestseller badge, you just have to defend it.
Yeah.
And, a lot of ways to do that. Again, lost in the weeds. I'm sorry.
No, seriously, don't apologize and continue to do what you consider rambling, because that, I think you're just giving really good answers, honestly.
Okay, great. I'm glad you said that.
No, seriously. So on that point, it seems like there's definitely a benefit to being like a legacy seller. And if you're selling well, you probably maintain the top position for a while. I would imagine if you're, like you said, your images are good and you stick to those pillars. Mm-hmm. When you're onboarding a new product, do you have like a separate advertising strategy to get that to the top position? And then at what point do you change that advertising strategy? Because I imagine that the advertising spend for a new product is going to be overweight what it would be for like that legacy ice pack. Like, what does that look like for you? Okay.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So there's always a product roadmap for a new product launch on Amazon, depending on the business, but and your supply chain. Those things are the most important part. Let's just ignore all of that. So you have a brand new product, you got 1,000 units. The first thing I'm going to suggest is never send all those to Amazon. Never send like all your inventory to Amazon. If it pops and it works and you sell out, all the work you've done to get your ranking is destroyed. So
sad.
Number 1, stay in stock. Whatever that means to you, make sure you can stay in stock. Have backup inventory either in a 3PL or in your office or in your bedroom. It doesn't matter. Just make sure you have more to send. That being said, there's an Amazon ready, retail ready checklist, it's called. Another thing you can Google. But basically what it says is don't spend a dime on advertising or anything until your listing has 3.5 stars or better, until it has 15 reviews or more, until it has images, until it has video. Like basically Amazon it's doing you a solid by saying, make sure your listing is optimized before you drive traffic to it, which sounds like a no-brainer, but people throw products up and assume they're going to make money. So they just drive traffic, but that traffic's not going to convert just because, I have an ice pack and I'm driving traffic to ice pack at $4 a click. I'm going to lose my shirt. Like that's not how it works. So you launch a brand new product. Your first thing on your list is getting reviews, and do not get reviews. I don't want to say illegally, but don't go against Amazon's terms of service ever to do anything. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to try to, I'm telling you, every Chinese, I shouldn't just say Chinese brand, but foreign brands, a lot of them from China, are manufacturing the product. They're throwing it up themselves and they're selling it for like $4.99. The same product that anywhere else in the world, they have to sell for $9.99. So you have to beat those guys somehow and get reviews somehow, while these guys and gals they're buying reviews, honestly. They're buying reviews. They're buying like upvotes and downvotes on your reviews. They're giving people free product for reviews, which is a big no-no these days. But there are above board ways to do that through Amazon. They're called Amazon's Early Reviewers Rewards Program and Vine, which is basically, and you need brand registry to get Vine, another reason why. Vine is Amazon's community of reviewers. You have to like be invited to that. It's a very elite group of people. They get products for free and they review them. And in turn, they usually give you a 4 or a 5-star review, which is what you want. The Vine community is elite. They're good people and they're handpicked. So if you can get Vine, that's what you want. If not, Amazon Early Reviewers Program. I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but have you bought something on Amazon and then gotten an email saying like, hey, if you leave a review, we'll give you $3 Amazon credit? You ever see that?
Yeah, I've seen that.
That's what that is. That's what that is. That's Amazon's Early Reviewers Rewards Program.
That's pretty helpful.
That's really helpful. Like you have to do that. You have to do that. I think it costs $60 for 5 reviews all in. But you know, 1 5-star review is going to beget more reviews. Just, you know, you need that first one. Once you get one, the other ones will come in.
Yeah, I think that advice point on making sure that you have the reviews and sort of like that checklist complete before you start doing the advertising spend. I could see that. And even for myself, I could see that being an early mistake where you're like, okay, I need to spend money to make money. That's stupid. Like metaphor. It's not necessarily a metaphor, but that old like proverb, spend money to make money. And just like, it's not necessarily one-to-one. And I think you need to sort of allow yourself the runway to be successful before you spend money on people not wanting to spend money themselves. Don't be dumber than the customer.
100%. And I know it's exciting. You got your product there and you're like, yeah, I know it's a yo-yo. I'm going to bid on yo-yo. I'm going to bid $5 a bid. I'm going to sell it like crazy. No, because everyone's bidding on yo-yo. So the way you really make it on Amazon today is finding a little niche. And that, I don't mean product wise, it could be advertising wise, but you need to find a spot where you can compete and then use the money you're making, that profitability, to bolster your account and just keep going. Going back to what you asked though, brand new product. So once you get those reviews, you need to do like a learning stage advertising program, which again, this sounds like complicated, but you do a quick course, you're going to learn how to do this through Amazon in a day, in 2 hours. But you need to make an automatic campaign with really low bids to learn how people are finding your product. And more importantly, learning how they're not, right? So negative keywords are just as important as actual keywords. For those who don't know what negative keyword means, you're just telling Amazon that if somebody searches this keyword, my product does not show up for it. It might be something really similar to what you're selling. Like ice pack, great example. Our ice pack that we used to sell was only cold. So like hot and cold ice pack, we would negative keyword. We don't want anybody searching for that in our product to come up because they're going to click on it, see that it's not hot and cold. And then I just paid $4 for a click and I'm livid. Mm-hmm. Those are the mistakes that people make.
Oh, that's so interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Like that's how you lose your shirt on Amazon in the first 6 months and be like, I'm out. I don't understand how anybody's making money. Well, it's because you're not being efficient with your dollar. So it's just going to come back to haunt you. You need to take that dollar and spend every cent of it as efficiently as you can. And that makes sense. Simple as that.
Yeah. So circling back to more of the logistics and shipping side of things. So did you normally use Amazon to ship out stuff, or are you shipping from your home or wherever you live, or are you doing a combination of the two? I guess in your experiences, what have you done? Both or a little bit of everything?
Yeah. Short answer is a little bit of everything. And I would say using Amazon to drop ship your inventory, like the 30,000 foot view, I would say in the past was a no-brainer. It was really a well-oiled machine, but since COVID has kind of shaken up Amazon, I would not recommend doing that now. You're better off with a 3PL for now until Amazon settles. What they've been doing is they've been doing restock limitations per SKU on sellers now. meaning like you can't just send all your inventory anymore. You can only send very small quantities because people were doing just what we're discussing. And we were guilty of it too, sending, I had 60,000 units of that ice pack at Amazon at one point, at any moment, because we would sell 500 a day. So, that in mind, there's a lot of inventory logistics issues on Amazon as well right now because of COVID. The supply chains for everybody are backed up by 4 to 6 weeks. The prices of getting a boat are up by 1,000,000,000%. I couldn't even tell you. I know a container went from like $4,000 to $20,000.
Yeah, I heard about that. Containers coming from China and stuff, just to even get them back, they're going for $20,000. I mean, it seems that the most obscure investments over the last year and a half have been the ones that worked the best, whether it's AMC stock, GameStop stock. If you have lumber, you're flexing that as instead of your 401k. It seems to be wild, the logistics, and it's been a nightmare. I mean, the pandemic aside, it's been crazy across the board with everything. So I can imagine Amazon is, experiencing those problems as well as the rest of the world.
For sure. But that being said, Amazon has also been the reason, a lot of people have been able to stay in business and stay afloat. And I know personally in our company, initially we took like a 14% hit, in sales month to month, but in health and wellness, we were fortunate enough to still be able to sell when everyone else was barred from even sending to Amazon. So long story short, for like the amateur investors and guys like you need to basically, it's like, are you going to start with a product? Are you going to start with businesses that are already selling on Amazon? Or are you going to start with a brand? I mean, you could buy a brand, you could buy a product, you could sell it yourself, or there's so many options. How are you going to use Amazon outside of just buying Amazon stock to make yourself rich? And the answer is there are many, many, many ways to do it. It's just, you need to start doing it. Mm-hmm. The companies like us are experiencing incredible growth. They're hiring like 4 people per month, all with people like you guys who are finding products and finding businesses and they want to sell on Amazon, and we're helping people do it every day. So it's, every day you wait, it gets harder. Yeah. And Amazon is headed for maybe a huge breakup. Who knows? So I would say, don't wait too long, but you got to be smarter than ever with your entry.
I guess that's a nice advantage of being a seller on Amazon versus being Amazon is you don't have that regulatory risk. You could always just, if you have a good product and you have a good strategy, you can just pick up shop and go to the next winner.
You can. But I will say this, if you don't know, and you're thinking about Amazon and you're like, well, my comms are this, how many points do I have to give up? You got to give up 40% to sell on Amazon if you want them to ship.
That's spicy.
It sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, but most of that 40%, 25% of that is the FBA cost, and that covers your returns as well.
Yeah, there's a payback there for sure.
That's a big deal. You're talking the pick and pack, the getting it on the first truck, to get it to the second truck, all that. You don't have to worry about that. And they're going to provide customer service most of the time. You just have to do very basic customer service. When somebody is smart enough to find that they bought from a seller, number one, which is rare. Most people assume they bought from Amazon. So when you go to make a complaint to a seller, it's not an easy thing to do. But, you just do very basic customer service, help people out, give them a free product, the same way Amazon does. If you can model your customer service off of any interaction you've had with Amazon's customer service, you're in a good spot. Because that's a big thing too, right? You can't just sell on Amazon and have a terrible buying experience. You have to have a nice package. You have to have follow-up customer service, just like any other business. Just because you're selling on Amazon doesn't mean, you can't put a face to that business. If you can make people see that you're real people, and you're from the States, if you're selling on Amazon.com, that's big. That's what people want to see nowadays. They want to see that you're supporting the right causes, that you're environmentally friendly, you're humanitarianly friendly, if that's a word, socially responsible. Those kind of things. Those are the important things for Amazon sellers today. But the other thing is it changes every day, every single day. it changes. And that's why you need to stay on top of things in this industry, more so than just e-commerce in general, because Amazon will change the game behind your back every day. And you just need to be watching.
Yeah, I guess that's the nature. Even if I know back in the early 2000s when Google, the SEO, the search engine optimization, people were always trying to get to the top of Google, whether you're AAA Liquors trying to sell. I know liquor is probably a hard one because it's tough selling alcohol across state lines and stuff and based on liquor license. But I know there's a lot of people trying to compete for the top spot with Google, and they're always changing their algorithm. Facebook, Amazon, all these big tech companies, you're kind of at the whim of their coders and the algorithms that they're doing behind the closed doors.
100%. And I'll say this too, for people wondering, the latest algorithm actually honors off-site traffic more than ever before. So Amazon is pushing driving traffic from other places now in order, so you rank better if you have social media ads also pointing to your product detail page. It's brilliant.
It's great to hear, actually.
Yeah, Amazon just follow. They do something brilliant every month to make more money. It's incredible. And boy, do they get their money.
Yeah, they do.
So.
Yeah, Pat, honestly, this has been an awesome conversation. And like the advice, I feel like you wrapped it up perfectly, where we now have a package in front of our customer. So I appreciate you just walking through this.
Thank God, because I felt so disjointed the entire time. I was like, no one's going to follow this. They're going to have no idea what to do. But
this was honestly a masterclass in drop shipping. Like I want to start actually. I mean, I want to do some research because you made it exciting. So thank you for that. I guess my one last question before we sort of start our wrap up process is I would love to hear about, maybe the goals for your business going forward. Do you have any anything in the pipeline that you're really excited about, or really just anything you're working on generally to grow the team, anything?
Yeah. So I start this position August 3rd. So on Tuesday, actually a week from today. Oh my God.
Congrats.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So the company I'm going into, their claim to claim is that their brands experienced 400% growth year over year. And that sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. But, relative to what? If you're doing 10 grand a month and we just double that, that sounds like a lot of money, but in the grand scheme of things, that's not in Amazon. We quickly went from $3,000 days to $30,000 days, just by leveraging the right things on Amazon. God, lost in the weeds again. Jesus. What was your question?
Just big goals for you, for the company.
Goals. Personal goals. Yeah, that's why I can't answer it, because I don't really have them. I went to this company as a senior Amazon account manager to talk to business owners and people like you guys that, these brands are a little more established. They're going to be like your Shark Tank kind of brands, like we're talking Manscaped and Poo-Pourri, Squatty Potties.
Yeah.
Products that people know about, but they haven't been selling on Amazon. That hasn't been something they needed, but they need people that know how to do it and know how to do it quickly. So they come to us and they're like, well, we got 100 grand and we need insane growth. So we just, okay, like, well, your ACOS, your advertising cost of sales is going to be very high. You're going to have to pay to play because you want exposure, right? So again, I don't know. What I'm looking to get out of this, for me, out of this career is to make sure all my clients, the arrow's pointing up. And when it's not, I know the reason why. I might not be able to fix it, but I know the reason why, and then I can point them in the right direction. What I've been noticing is that most businesses on Amazon are failing at the inventory stage, which is interesting. But when you haven't sold on Amazon before and you haven't experienced pops in like sales, just random, I was selling 5 a day for 30 days and now it's 10. And now my weeks of supply was cut in half. That's what I'm talking about, why you have to have backup inventory. It is.
That's what you mean by failing at the inventory stage?
Paramount. It is paramount. And the company I just worked for, we went out of stock every year, like every quarter, like at least once a quarter, because they refused to buy up front and store inventory instead of just keeping it close. That just-in-time inventory, that does not work. on Amazon that does not work in most of e-commerce. That's an old concept. Get it out of your mind. Just-in-time inventory is a way to set yourself up for failure. Just stop it. Yeah, that's not exactly my personal goal, but again,
the
just
goal
more
you said
info
is,
for your listeners.
no, honestly, the goal that you said, where it really is just like a customer experience goal. I feel like that's how you think like a business owner is. I want that arrow to be up, and if it's not, I want to know why. And I feel like that's the most that you can control ever. How can you do much more? If you can't fix it, you can't fix it, but at least you know the problem. And I think that's the most important thing. Okay, so I guess once again, seriously, thank you for coming on the show. It was awesome to meet you. One question I always like to ask our guests is, what in your career or at any given moment has been the biggest investment mistake that you've made? And because you're running your own business, we can also make that the biggest business mistake you've made. So either investment or business. I'd love to hear that.
Oh man. Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Thanks for coming on,
You guys you're gonna love this one. I made a coupon on Amazon, which is another lever you can pull for you guys out there. But I made a coupon so I can buy myself a Mother's Day gift for 99% off. Problem was, I pushed it live to every single product detail page because we didn't have protocols built to have 2 eyeballs on all coupons. We do now. So long story short, we went to bed, we woke up and had $5 million in sales, then no inventory.
Oh
and we only got 1% of that $5 million in revenue. So
oh my God.
I spent the entire weekend with Amazon seller support, getting escalated on the phone, 12-hour days, just trying to get as many orders canceled. Long story short, the damage was 400,000 or 500,000, but compared to 5 million, management was just happy that I stayed cool, calm. I did what I could. They all called me individually and were like, "We've lost more money than that ourselves." Many times. I was like, well, that doesn't inspire confidence, but I'm glad I still have a job. So, as much success as I've had, I've faced even more adversity. And just like anything else, you just gotta put your head down, move on to the next one. You're gonna face failure. If you're not, that means you're not trying. So
that's awesome advice.
What was that?
Yeah.
I think keeping a cool head and like knowing that, especially when you're on a leaner team, even a single person's decision just like scales much greater in the consequence scale. Like when you're in a big company, one person usually doesn't move the needle too much because there's so much bureaucracy, but being a decision maker for the business, you have consequences. So I guess my takeaway from that is always stay focused and just make sure you cover your bases. But when you don't, and when shit hits the fan, just keep a cool head because that's all you can do at that point. So
100%, because shit will inevitably hit that fan. So you
it's
just
always
have
spinning.
to stay cool and clean it up and move on to the next one, or buy a new fan.
Love it.
All right, Pat, I got my wrap-up question. So this is my favorite one to ask. I guess, what's your favorite book, podcast, YouTube channel, magazine, whatever it is for investing or just learning business acumen? I'm sure that you have a bunch with doing Amazon dropshipping.
I do, and I'm going to throw a random one out at you that is not directly correlated to business, but will make you a much better business person. Okay. That's going to be The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I don't know if you guys have heard of that book, but it's a spirituality book, but it really actually focuses on your mind and your reactions to things. And, my biggest struggles in business have always been, in the moment when you get into it with somebody, in business, and you think you're right, they think you're right. If you can get your mind prepared for those kinds of conversations and staying cool and staying calm, that's going to help you in business way more than any other business book will. Get better at communicating with people on a personal level, on a human level, and your business will take off. Every business is a people business. I don't care if you sell products, services, it doesn't matter. You're only as good as your employees and your customers. Keep both of them happy and you're going to succeed.
I think that's great advice. And I think that's something that's really overlooked. Everyone gets lost in the numbers, the widgets, the logistics, everything under the sun. But if you work well with other people, whether that's customers, your employees, your shareholders, at the end of the day, it's always a people and people interaction. And if you can keep all aspects or facets of the business happy on the people end, normally the good business will come from that.
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree more.
So Pat, last question I've got. If someone wants to learn more about you or your business, where should they go?
If I'll say this, if you want like advice directly, I give it all away for free. It's not a business play for me. You can find me on LinkedIn, just my name, Patrick DeRiso, or just email me, patrickderiso@gmail.com. It's the same spelling as my name. I'm looking to help people. So if anybody needs it, I'm happy to offer as much as I can give. I can't promise FaceTime and like video chats with everybody, but an email, 100% I'll get back to you. 100%. So for my business itself, that is straightupgrowth.com. The company is Straight Up Growth. I don't know if they're accepting clients right now. I don't start till Tuesday, so I can't give too much information, but if you were interested in me managing the account, just contact them and drop my name.
That's awesome. Pat, seriously, thank you so much for this conversation. I learned a lot, and I think people can save a lot of money just listening to this podcast interview with you. So seriously, once again, thanks for coming on the show. This was a blast.
Thank you guys so much. I had a great time, and I really hope I was able to help somebody today in some way. And to your point, maybe I stopped someone from going to Amazon and losing a ton of money, and that's just valuable. That's just as valuable. Avoiding the losses as much as getting the wins is just as valuable.
Yep, definitely. Thanks, Pat, for coming on. Pleasure seeing you, and thanks for coming on to the podcast. As always, everyone, like, comment, subscribe. You can check us out on our website or all our social media channels. So it's been a pleasure. Thanks, guys, for listening. Have a good one.
Thanks again, guys.
Thanks, Pat.